Matt Hasselbeck is with us, helping us get ready for Super Bowl 60. Matt, you're on in Washington, D.C. We really appreciate the time. How are you?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm in San Francisco getting ready for the big game.
What is this? What's so different about this week? Especially for a first timer, right? Go back to the time when you guys were getting ready for that Super Bowl, leading up to it as a quarterback. So many questions, so much extra preparation, all the eyes on you. How different was that for a first-time signal caller?
It's so different, but I think one thing that was great for us is our coaching staff. It was Mike Holmgren, and he had gone through it with Bill Walsh and Joe Montana and Steve Young and Jerry Rice and all those guys in San Francisco, and he had gone through it with Brett Favre and Reggie White and those guys in Green Bay. So we could just kind of turn our brains off and trust that he knew the process. He knew how we needed to practice, when we needed to eat, when we needed to travel, like all the stuff. He had it. He was on it. And I think for, these organizations, they've got people in the building that have been there recently. Obviously, the Patriots think they've been to a Super Bowl or two. The Seahawks, this will be, I think, their fourth one. And, so even if these players haven't necessarily played, I think limiting the distractions for them and really feeling their best, not last Sunday, but feeling their best this upcoming Sunday is the goal. And I think they've got the right people in place to help them get there.
Matt Hasselbeck on Grant and Danny. 11 times he started and played in playoff football and put up big-time numbers in some games. First couple playoff games ever, he threw for over 300 and then 341 in a couple tutties. But you had some huge games. It always felt to me like, Matt, once the game gets going, it's the same thing. And I feel that way watching these teams now. Like last week, it didn't seem like Sam Darnold was thinking about the environment as he was shredding a good Rams defense. You cooked against Carolina in an NFC Championship game or against the Saints late in your career in the playoffs. Was it different in-game? Is there any real different element to it? Like if I just dropped you in that moment, would you go, oh, this is the playoffs? I could tell.
No, it's different. It's different in the Super Bowl. Like the playoffs are different than the regular season. The Super Bowl is different for a lot of different reasons. The pageantry before the game. You're a creature of habit. Your warm up ends, and you're ready to maybe have a national anthem, a coin toss, and then it's time for the game. It's different. It's longer. Your halftime's longer. My Super Bowl, the Rolling Stones played at halftime. We were ready for it to be longer, but they played even longer than that. They were like, "Yeah, we don't rap. We just keep going. You tell us to stop. We just keep playing," and that was longer. I think one of the other things is that at least they did this when I played. It was a different football on just about every play. So it was a game-used football in the Super Bowl, and they go give it to sponsors. It's a whole different thing. Like rubbing down the footballs there's an art to that. And there's some guys are really particular about that, almost anal about it. Like just kind of get that ball out of here. I hate that ball. It's like, dude, it's the same ball you just had. I switched it on you. But it's when you're throwing a new football, it's a thing. In the Super Bowl, the biggest game of your life, you can be throwing a ball that's kind of slick. I remember the year before I went to the Super Bowl, all the quarterbacks were upset that the Super Bowl logo was so big on the ball, and it's kind of slick. It was slick and shiny. So there are some differences, and I think it's the job of the coaches and also the players to somehow just say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to worry about this or that, a long halftime or a new football. I'm just going to lock in and make it happen.
Great, Matt Hasselbeck with us here on Grant and Danny. Now, Matt, I don't know if you saw this, but Tom Brady doesn't care who wins the game, just hopes both teams have fun. I assume you feel the same way as a former Seahawk great?
Shoot. Being a politician can catch up with you, just
I caught up with him in Boston. Man. He lost a couple of points in that election.
He can't go to any Dunkin' Donuts anytime soon, I don't think.
Dunkin' Donuts? He can't even go see Vince Wilfork, his old friends. I mean, No, listen, here's my situation. This is my team against my dad's old team. I grew up a Patriots fan. My dad was a tight end for the Patriots. But, no, I bleed for this Seahawks team. I love this team. And but that doesn't mean I don't have friends on the Patriots.
Sure.
I'm good friends with Mike Vrabel. I'm friendly with Drake Maye. I've got great friends. Hunter Henry's one of the best people I know. But at the end of the day, this game's only fun if you can pick a team and root for them. So I'm not gambling on the game. So I'm picking a team. It's very easy for me to pick Seattle. I love that team. I literally feel like I put my life on the line for that team for 10 years. So that's an easy one for me.
Matt Hasselbeck on Grant and Danny. So I want you to put on your analyst hat sitting there at the desk at ESPN for me for a second. You mentioned Drake Maye in this game. 2024 quarterback class looks legendary. Caleb Williams, Jayden Daniels here. Maye go in the top 3, 6 of the top 12. 4 guys have basically already been either on the verge of or in a conference title game. Right now, this moment, if you had to bet on who's going to have the most successful career, who would you roll with?
Well, I've been day one very consistent that I think Drake Maye's got the right stuff. He's been incredible. I mean, absolutely incredible. And I served as a combine mentor for half of the quarterbacks and half of the receivers for that draft class. And I was impressed with a lot of the guys. Jayden Daniels, I was incredibly impressed with. He had a great year last year. Bo Nix, I think, is way underrated. 2 years in a row, I thought he's played really good football despite some of the hate that he gets. I think he's done a great job. Caleb Williams, I was kind of a hater on year one, and I think that in year two he's really matured and improved. And with Ben Johnson, I think he could have a great career. And there's some other guys, but Drake Maye to me and my brother said this is the first person that I ever heard this from, my brother Tim, who's on ESPN. You see him on SVP from DC every Sunday night. He said, in all my years at ESPN, I've never seen or scouted a prospect that had more upside than Drake Maye. And I thought, that is a crazy thing to say. And then I get to know him at the Combine, and I'm like, yeah, I got it. I believe it. He's the real deal in every single way that you could want a quarterback to be the real deal. I think Drake Maye is that guy. Now, he's just scratching the surface of what I think he's going to be by the end of his career. He's unique.
Let's talk about your Seahawks here, Matt. This is such a complete team. They are good. It looks like there's no weakness anywhere. They just seem so good on both sides of the ball, plus special teams, by the way. They can knock you out that way. Is there a weakness in your mind?
Yeah, there is. I don't want to talk about it because I'm trying to help them win. But they're the number one team they're the number one defense in the NFL. But maybe it's just how I'm trained. I know exactly what I would do as a quarterback. I know who I would go after and how I would do it.
What's it rhyme with?
And it's not so much. I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint though. It's not so much that I think that these players or this scheme or anything is bad. It's a little bit of how strong they are elsewhere. Like, they are really, really good. Like, statistically, in a lot of categories, this defense is much better than the Legion of Boom ever was. I mean, they're a very good defense. And you mentioned special teams. They're outstanding at special teams as well. So, no, this is a team that was not even a playoff team last year, but they played great defense last year. But Mike McDonald came in and had the courage to make a change at offensive coordinator, John Schneider and Mike McDonald. They changed the quarterback. They said goodbye to some great players like DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. And they said, no, this is what the identity of our team is going to be. And this is how we're going to do it. And we're going to put all our chips in on Sam Darnold when some people believed in him and a lot of people didn't. They said, it's just because of Justin Jefferson. It's a one-year fluke, or this or that. And they said, nope, we know how to evaluate quarterbacks. Sam Darnold's got the right stuff. We believe in him. And here they are. And they've played great football in all three phases.
Matt, were you a little bit upset? I'm pretty sure you've coached some high school football. You're only 50, that the Colts didn't call you.
Well, I'll tell you what. When they called Phillip Rivers, I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Us too.
We were scared for the guy, man.
He is absolutely gonna pop a calf muscle or something. I better be ready next week because they might call me. So I started getting in shape. I started power walking at 3.5 degrees and a 4.5. I'm joking. I was not power walking. There's no chance I'm going to be able to come back. But I think for old guys everywhere, it was pretty impressive to see what he did. And I'll just say this. We were talking about young quarterbacks earlier. All the stuff you measure for at the Combine or they measure for, that's not what matters. It's not even what matters. Like, what Phillip Rivers came in 44 years old off the street. It's the intangibles, the leadership, the command of the huddle, helping guys around him be successful. He goes into Seattle against that defense and played outstanding. When he left the field in that game, the game was basically over. They won the game. Now, Seattle had heroics and special teams and then a 2-minute drive and then a game winner. But, Phillip Rivers did that against the number one team in the NFL on defense, who's about to hoist the Lombardi, very likely. So I think it's a good lesson for these young quarterbacks. It's not about what you think it's about.
Matt, I know you've teamed up with the Family Heart Foundation. Tell folks why.
So my dad, who played, for the Patriots, he was in great shape. He had just turned 70. He had a heart attack in April and passed away. And it was shocking to us because he was in such great shape. And my mom asked me and my brothers, she's like, boys, can you please go get screened? Check your hearts, do all the tests, check your blood pressure, check your cholesterol, all the stuff. And, we kind of rolled our eyes, but we wanted to honor our mom. And so we're like, sure, we did. And I was shocked to find out that my LDL cholesterol was high. And when your LDL cholesterol is high, you're at risk for a lot of things: heart attack, stroke, dementia, all kinds of bad stuff. And so, I was eating right, I was exercising. I'm like, how? Why? Well, there's some things, LDL cholesterol being one of them, that are just genetic and they're invisible, and you don't know unless you get screened. And so if you can get in that LDL safe zone, get your LDL cholesterol down, you can greatly lower your risk for a lot of the things that affect so many people. And so as a way to honor my dad, I'm sharing my story and encouraging people to go to cholesterolconnect.org, where you can get your LDL cholesterol checked for free. It's very simple. It takes like 10 minutes. And, I think your loved ones will thank you if you take some ownership of your own health. And like I said, I really feel like I'm in good shape. And not that I would ever try to make a comeback to the NFL, but I feel like physically I probably could do a little bit of it. I couldn't do a full season, but I felt like I was in good shape. And then I get this LDL cholesterol screening back, and I wasn't in as good shape as I really thought.